Hello and welcome to another episode of the Chrissie Mayr podcast. We are on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, and SoundCloud. And if you're listening to us on iTunes, please leave me a little Christmas gift, a little Christmas review, 5 stars. Why not? I really appreciate it. Guys, I'm so excited. I don't know if you know this yet, but I'm filming a special. This is my first ever comedy special, and it's going to be very soon on Thursday, January 6th, baby. My favorite day ever, and it's going to be at Governor's in Levittown. Yeah, it's going to be great. I think it's a good timing after the new year. You have a couple days to sober up before you get it up again to come to this special. Get your tickets now at my website chrissiemayr.com, or you can go to the Governor's Levittown website govs.govs.com. Got a bunch of dates coming up after that special taping on the 6th. I think I'm going to be in Danbury on the 14th. I was going to be in Albany, but now we've canceled that show because they require vax mandates, and we're not about that life. So it's very exciting. Then I'm going to be in Savannah, Georgia in March, planning a Florida trip for March as well. So feel free to tag me, tag venues and clubs that you want me to perform at that don't mandate papers, please. So very excited for all that. Guys, you can still have yourself a Mayor Chrissy Miss shirt. I don't know if you'll get it in time for Christmas, but you'll have it pretty soon. Go to tpublic.com. You can also get a bunch of other great shirts like this Mayor shirt. Remember Obama? Wasn't he great? Well, now you have my shirt. And then there's also the Make America Great Again shirt. It's me kind of in like a pinup situation. I've also partnered with Levinsky's Top Shelf to have my very own hot sauce. It's called Nightmare. It's like a verde. It's really good on eggs. It's really good on whatever. My friends who are into hot sauce really, really like it. And here's a picture of me on the front eating somebody's insides, and it says The Great Awakening, which means we're going to awaken your taste buds. Go to levinskystopshelf.com. Use promo code CMP to get a couple bucks off. Sounds good, right? Okay. I'm so excited to have this guy back on the podcast. It's been at least a year. So much has happened. There's so much to catch up on. I absolutely adore this guy, and I 100% credit him with lighting a match on my whole red pilling adventures. He is the host of the Tinfoil Hat podcast, Conspiracy Social Club, Cash Daddies, Zero. He's basically the big daddy over at Rockfin, which is another network or platform that I do podcasts on. He's just basically the shit. Sam Tripoli, happy to have you back on the show. How are you? How's it going?
I'm great. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate you. You're the hardest working person I know. And I'm so super proud of how well you're doing. You kick so much ass. You're such a hustler. You get a lot of shit on the internet, which I do not understand why. And well, I do understand why. And it goes
Tell
back.
me, I don't understand it.
Well, because people have notions of who should be making it and who shouldn't be making it. And it goes back to this guy on ESPN, Scott Van Pelt, once said that he noticed when a prospect that all the experts and critics say is can't miss, whenever they do something good, they celebrate. And whenever they do something that they make mistakes, they kind of ignore them. But then the prospects that nobody saw coming, they kind of downplay their successes and really pound them when they mess up. And I think that's kind of what happens in comedy. I think I'm a little bit about that. I have that as well. Like, people really everyone always said they're rooting for David over Goliath, but I think people in the long run really love Goliath, and they get really mad when David starts winning. And I see that a lot with you, man. You're a hustler. You've created this brand all on your own. Obviously, you're on that great network and has help, but you've gone down this own path, and you're authentic to it, and it really connects with people. And there's some people that get really angry about that because they can't find their lane, and they keep doing the old dying system, and they keep worshiping at a dying altar, and it's not getting them any results, and they're angry about it. So I think you're wonderful. I think you're great. You know, I know you get called a conservative or a right wing or whatever that is.
Nazi grifter.
Yeah, whatever that is, I just don't understand it. What I really don't understand is how there's super edgy comedians that align themselves with the progressive left, right? Like they do all this insanely politically incorrect comedy and then act like they're going to march with the progressives. And it just makes no sense to me because they're playing a game of Russian roulette because those people will eventually turn around and devour them. I don't know why I just don't get how dirty comics, edgy comics, shit-talking comics can align themselves with this censoring left. It makes no sense to me at all. And I know that you get some shit from a lot of people like that. And I just got to tell you, it's because you're killing it. And it's all player hating bullshit.
First of all, thank you. Times a million. Ooh, I have an echo. Shoot.
All right.
I wonder if you could turn something down so I don't hear myself.
Okay. So you're hearing from me. All right. So let me see if I can do this.
It's okay.
Is that any better?
Yeah, that's perfect. That's great. I just like for some reason if I hear how my own voice sounds, which I hate the sound of my own voice.
My computer, I need to get a new one. I don't know why. It's like StreamYard. I love StreamYard, but for some reason my computer with the outlets don't. But anyways, you're crushing.
Anyway, thank you. I wonder if it's because I wonder if some of these comedians are stuck in the mindset of like, I don't know, 2008 or something where that was okay. Cause it's like you could be progressive. You were on the left. It was like the Jon Stewart days, you know, like fight the power, fight the machine, but we're still like edgy and on the left. But now the power is the left. And what are you even doing? And I think it's just people haven't realized that they're not the underdogs anymore.
It is kind of crazy, right? It's just like, you know, if anything, the coronavirus, Trump, and, you know, I think people are waking up to a lot of what Trump did as well. But I think what we've seen is like all these like punk rockers were fake as fuck, right? And they weren't really what they were. It was very easy to rage against the machine when everyone just sat in D's and R's all the time. But as the D's started revealing that they're as bad as the R's, okay, they couldn't change. Like I'm much older than you. I'm 49 years old, man. I'm an old ass man,
only
right?
11 years older. You're not that much older, and you don't look it. So
thank you. I'm, you know, you go sober, you don't age as bad. But
there you go.
You know, a lot of people like 35 and older, probably more 40 and older on the left, cannot come to grips with the fact that, you know, if they don't vote for Democrats, that's not a vote for Republicans. Like you can hate Republicans, but also realize that Democrats are lying to you. And
you can hate them both, you know.
Scumbags isn't a vote for good, right?
Yeah, welcome to being a libertarian. Welcome to being an anarchist. Like there is not just two choices here.
And that's just going on. There's just people on the left that can't come to grips with that the Democratic Party no longer holds their values and that they're just giving them lip service. And basically what the Democrats are basically a guy trying to get laid that will say anything to get laid. And then afterwards they're like, yeah, I got laid. I'm moving on. Right. And now and women are always like, what are you fucking doing? You said all this great stuff to me. That's the Democratic left right now. They're like, hold on, he's promised all the stuff.
We'll pay for your college. We'll defund the police. Everyone gets reparations. And then when they get voted in, like, huh? What?
Yeah, I feel that like everything in I don't know how much you're into crypto, but I feel like everything
not as much as I should. Crypto still intimidates me, to be honest.
It's kind of a what?
Crypto intimidates me. Like I feel like I want to learn more about it, but I'm so retarded about crypto. Like I'm afraid to even ask the questions of the level that I'm at. Like I own some. I don't know what's happening. I'm afraid to check it sometimes. I think I got dismayed after Elon Musk went on SNL and then all my Doge dipped. And then I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm just going to buy action figures and hope for the best.
Well, you know what's very interesting is, you know, as I've done Cash Daddies, my financial comedy podcast with Howie
You should
Dewey,
be my
Chris
cash
Neff.
daddy.
What's that?
Would you be my cash daddy? Because I
Yeah, for
currently
sure.
have
For sure.
no
I'll be like the worst
daddies.
fucking sugar daddy ever. I'll be like, here, can we go Dutch on this? But I've learned that like a lot of the demographics that complain about the patriarchy and all that stuff are so the demographic that don't really sit in investing. They don't invest their money. They're more about working for check to check to check or something like that. Like I've always thought it'd be great to be a financial advisor to the strippers. These strippers make so much money and they don't do anything with it. If they were investing it, they could make some money off that. Getting your money to work for you isn't. I don't know, man. I mean, like there obviously women do crypto. There's some wonderful crypto female hosts on YouTube and all that stuff, but it's not to the level that you would see. You know, that would help them rise out of their financial level. Like, dude, crypto's really helped me, man. I mean, I'm doing very well because of crypto, you know? So it's very interesting, man. It's very interesting, like the whole world that we live in right now. And I know this is your show, but I wanted to talk about something real quick.
Take it away.
Have you seen the new Matrix?
No, I'm seeing it tomorrow morning.
Where?
In a movie theater.
Don't.
I have to as part of this other podcast I do. And like we talk about the movies.
Find somebody who has HBO Go and watch it there. You need to trust me on this.
We already bought the ticket.
So bad. It's so bad. It's devastatingly sad.
How bad is
it? You realize how bad this movie is 5 minutes into the movie.
Oh,
and
gosh.
You know, and it's very hard for me because the Matrix has a very, you know, is very close to my heart. I love the Matrix, obviously, in conspiracy movies, conspiracy podcasts, everything is a reference to the movie. And now this is how old I am. When I moved to LA, I was staying in a hotel. It was called the Argyle at the time. I was working as a valet at the Argyle. And at the Argyle, the Wachowski brothers were staying there. They were finishing the movie while they were staying there while they were finishing up the movie. And every day they would come and talk to me about the movie. And they would show me
the original Matrix, right? Okay.
And I was just like, fuck, man, this is like crazy. I got to see this movie. And when I saw, I didn't realize how big it was going to be. But as you know now that they are, hold on one second. Sorry, I had to commit domestic violence right there. So as time's gone on, they've transitioned. They are now the Wachowski sisters. Teach your own. I don't care what adults do.
Whoa, they transitioned? How did I miss this?
Yeah, they're the Wachowski sisters now.
Okay, I feel like, all right, maybe I did hear of this.
Maybe you didn't even know they were the brothers at one point. You're so young, right?
Maybe I'm just so woke that I just accepted them as women and I didn't think
and good for them. Like, dude, live your life. I don't care, man. But they've had a real visceral reaction to the right kind of hijacking Red Pill and talk about the Matrix. Wow. I literally think they tanked this movie because they hated the brand so much. And it's so bad. It's so bad that it's heartbreaking. I don't want anyone to spend $1 on it.
So you think they're intentionally trying to ruin the legacy?
100%.
Wow. Do you think, okay, let's go even like deeper. Do you think they're trying to dissuade people from like going into rabbit holes or like going deep on some of these themes?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like they've tried to say that the Matrix wasn't about, you know, well, they said conspiracies. It wasn't about understanding. And they tried to make it about literally, I think they said it was about transitioning. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And it's just like they've destroyed their brand. And I think they hate that it's associated with conspiracy theories now.
Wow.
I think it drives them nuts. Because
now I really do want to see it. I'm so curious. I want to see how bad it is.
I'm telling you, man, you're gonna wish you got the gas back that you spent driving to the movie theater. And I'm all about it. I think people need to go back to movies.
I'm gonna bring a big coffee with Bailey's in it. I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna get some popcorn. Okay, now that I'm geared up for how bad it is, I've been hearing that it's bad from a couple of different people, but I'm excited to view it through the lens of someone that may want to ruin the legacy and or dissuade conspiracy theorists. I meant to bring this up when we were talking about comedians and like what is edgy, what is not, what is pushing the boundaries, like what is just coasting along. Were you, and I spent the whole pandemic time in New York. It's funny because I was in LA when it all kicked off, March of 2020, and I had done your show and a bunch of other stuff in LA. This was like I guess early March, and the very last day, the day I had to go home was when the shit was hitting the fan. And it's so crazy, Sam, because I spent the entire like first couple weeks of the pandemic just like going down these rabbit holes, watching Out of Shadows, watching Fall Cabal. Like, you just planted like something about you talking about Tom Hanks at that first trip to LA. It just knocked around in my brain, and I just was like, the whole world opened up, and it like when I think of people who have like changed the course of my life, it's like you and Larry Sharp. I mean, like there's a handful of people, but and then I would like red pill my boyfriend on something and he would red pill me back on something else. It was like many nights of being up till like 2 to 4 in the morning, just like you know those nights. But anyway, so fast forward to now, there are all these crazy mandates for New York and LA. I decided in August I was not going to perform anywhere that mandated vaccine papers to get in. I feel pretty strongly about that. My feelings are not going to change. I have been very dismayed at the lack of other comedians coming out against this. I'm trying to be understanding, like, okay, comedians don't make a lot of money. Maybe they want to turn down work, but I want to know, what are your feelings on this? Why don't you think there are more comics standing up against basically this tyranny, this authoritarianism?
Well, it goes back to kind of what we were talking about, this fake punk rock. Now, here's the thing. Comedians are the spectrum of life, okay, and political thought. And a lot of them, I just watched this great debate between, Jimmy Dore and Graham Elwood. And, Graham Elwood is a lefty who is pro mandates and lockdowns. And I've known him for probably a decade and a half. And I was really angry at him when he was tweeting all this stuff and talking about pro mandates. But then I watched him on his video, and you could tell like he comes from a sincere place. He comes from a place where he's caring about people. And so it's very easy to get lost and angry at these people. But at the end of the day, they're scared. Like, they're just scared. And it was really easy, going back to what we were talking about earlier. It was very easy when we all had the same beliefs about the R's and the D's, and who the D's represented the little people, the R's represented the big corporate governments and the military industrial complex. And everything was so easy when these are the good guys. But now it's blended so much that there's this group of people that can't change they can't come to grips with that. They can't. They can't, like, don't vote for D's doesn't mean you're voting for R's. And that's all they tell themselves. If I don't vote for D's, the R's are going to win. Well, it's like, is it better to vote for people that are lying to your face? And that's what's going on with these guys. Listen, man, so much of like this anti-establishment shit that was forced down our throats for most of our life was just hidden psyops for keep the powerful people in power. It was all theater. It was so easy when white people bad, black people good, like, man, mean, women, and it was so easy. And now we're seeing the blending of all this stuff. And what's really crazy is, like, when I grew up in the 80s, man, all the movies, who were the bad guys? Fucking jock kids, right? Jock white guys, right? But you know who else they were? They were the rich kids. The rich white kids were the jocks and the meanies. Now we fast forward to today, it's still the rich kids. But now they're all the progressive, blue-haired fucking softies that are using this kind of internet behind your back way to kneecap you if they don't like you. They're the same kids. It's the same kids. Rich white kids. I can't tell you how many of these Me Too motherfuckers out here, both men and women, that are okay with kneecapping people that they love, okay, because they're just mean to women. They're just mean. No proof, no allegation, no proof, just allegations, and they clip their friends. But yet when somebody gets accused of pedophilia, they don't say nothing.
Are you talking about the Brian Callen thing? Are you just
that and a lot more?
Generally?
I mean, Jeff Garland.
Because I know that you're good friends with him. And also Jeff Garland, he got fired from something. I think they were towards the end of whatever project it was, but he just like
for hugs, dude.
He took somebody's face and said like vagina, and then someone was like, "Oh, it bothers me," and then he just like said it again anyway, which I can't believe that even is considered harassment.
It's called cultural Marxism, and they're doing it on purpose, and this is all part of the plan. Okay, and if you study cultural Marxism, if you can get past all the terms that keep telling you it's anti-Semitic, that they don't want you looking into it. That's why they say that. Okay.
Right.
But if you actually take
like any other label, like being labeled a racist, they just want to shut you up because
they don't want you to look into it. But when you start studying, have you studied BlackRock?
No, but they're like it's them and
Vanguard.
Vanguard
is most likely the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Passars, the Royals, because they won't tell you who the individual investors are into that company. Because that's the highest of the high. And then just under it is BlackRock, which is very interesting because a big thing that changed my life when I discovered Black Cube of Saturn worship, right? Black Cube, BlackRock, it's right there, right? So this guy, Larry Fink, and this is what I think his name's Larry Fink. He runs BlackRock, and there's this whole story about he comes from just some poor parents who were like shoe cobblers in the valley of Los Angeles, and he just rose his way to the top. I don't believe any of those stories. What I've learned about Jeff Bezos, what I've learned about Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, all those stories are lies. They're just all theatrics, okay? These people are lifetime long character actors. They're actors playing a role in this haunted house. But
even Elon, who everyone adores, not everyone, but lots of people are simping for Elon.
He did invent Tesla and he did invent PayPal. He bought them and changed their history to tell everybody they invented. He didn't invent them at all. That's a giant lie. He didn't outwork everybody. His family ran a giant emerald business out of South Africa.
Off stocks, didn't he?
And they made so much money that his dad used to brag that they couldn't even close the vault. And there's nothing wrong with making money. Yeah. But then there's this thing that like he just came up with these brilliant things, invented stuff. He didn't invent them. He bought them, changed their names. So they all do it. So BlackRock, right, comes from poor things. He started this business, it crashed and burned. He learned all these lessons, and now he's running everything, right? So BlackRock has this thing called environmental, social, corporate governance, dude.
Yeah, right? The ESG score.
Dude, it's right there. Corporate governance. That lets you know exactly. And that is why we're in this era called, I call it anti-business business, where businesses don't seem to be wanting to do good business. They just want to push this narrative. Well, this is why. Because in order to work with BlackRock and Vanguard, you got to score a certain level on. Do you know all this? I don't want to go into it.
No, I know some of it. Yeah, I have friends who work in corporations where they've started to see this roll out of like a certain amount of diversity and inclusion training, a certain amount of whatever it is, like recycling or whatever, sustainability, whatever that means to the building or the company.
So that's why, like near my house, there's a billboard. There's a drag queen, and it's a bank. It's a billboard for a bank, and this drag queen's putting on their makeup. And you're like, how does that convince me to want to join your bank? Send my money to your bank because this dude who's dressed like a woman, and I've been to drag shows. They're great. Why does that make me want to join your bank? Well, the truth is, it's not meant to. It's meant so they can check off and score high enough that BlackRock will invest with them. Okay. That's what it's all about. And then you get into the Fed, and what the BlackRock runs the Fed. So when everybody was talking about Trump's taking back the Fed, no, he wasn't. He's just put under a different name of ownership. It's the same fucking people, man. And that's why all this chaos is going on right now. It's not naturally occurring. It's actually 100% manufactured from these two corporations to push cultural Marxism on us, which is meant to divide and conquer. And that's why these guys, these people who work in, I call them system entertainers. Okay. Another great word for these comics who are always doing the Tonight Show and doing festivals, but you never see them crushing in comedy clubs. Someone had a great term for them. He called them house cats.
I call them industry darlings.
I call them industry entertainers, system entertainers. Mean they can only perform in the system. And then you always see them start podcasts and nobody watches, and they end the podcast. They're like, oh fuck, no one's, everyone's gonna realize it's all bullshit. They're industry, so and
then you see these comics like sort of flounder and fail, and you're like, what? Like they have all the support in the world behind them. They have Comedy Central behind them. They have Netflix behind them. They have representation. Like I still don't have a manager, and my podcast is blowing away a lot of these guys and girls.
But
whatever.
You don't need it. That's the old system. What do you need it for? What do you need it for? You can see
somebody with so much help, and you're like, oh, and you're still like, you should be doing better than me. You have all of this behind you.
You're booking shows. You know, Romanelli was talking so highly of you at the dojo.
Oh, I love Mike. Yeah.
About how nice you are and how people come out to see you. That's it. Sell tickets. Why do you need them? Like you don't. Why do you want to give them 10%? They don't. True. I work with a buddy of mine now, and he books me. He gets his gig on the road. I throw him 10%, and that's it. I'm not going to dole out money to everybody anymore. I had a great manager. She's leaving to basically homeschool her kids.
Oh.
And she really helped me out. And, you know, she's like, I'm going to go. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I mean, I would love to still have her because she helped me when no one else would. But right now, it's like I'm doing everything I want on my own. I'm doing my podcast, and I'm booking my own gigs. And once you start selling tickets, you're making way more money than you make in this really old way that is the comedy club circuit. Now, there are clubs I'll play because they were very kind to me back when no one would book me. But outside that,
which ones do you
House
like?
of Comedy in Phoenix, and I think they're opening one in Dallas. And then, you know, Edmonton, I recorded an album there. So they've always treated me well when nobody else would. So I'll always play their rooms. But outside of that, it's like, I'd rather just do my own show. Miami Improv is the only club that I'll go, okay, I'll do this improv because it's just Miami. You get paid a week to go hang out in Miami. I'll do it all anytime. But outside of that, I'm going to start going places and just getting the door. Right. It's much easier.
Once you can fill the room or like make a decent amount you have a decent amount of fans that will come out to see you. Like that's kind of it. Then that's the club owner's happy. If you can promote yourself, it's like you don't need these industry gatekeepers. And I'm sure you've been noticing there's going to be like a big Netflix comedy festival down in LA next year in a couple months. I don't know. I think it's March or something. And you look at who's on the bill. It's like every leftist established comedian you can think of. And oh, it's so diverse. I'm like, I don't see one conservative or right-leaning. Maybe Theo Von, maybe he was on there, but I see a very limited amount of opinions on this big, you know, diverse festival. And they're using it, and they're going to be taping a lot of these festivals and using it for Netflix content, you know, for the rest of the year. So it's kind of like win-win for them. But I'm like, I don't see any underdogs. I don't see any up-and-comers.
Yeah, it's basically Viacom 2.0. And just like Viacom, it's going to die out because people are just going to be over it. And they're just cranking out. They got Viacom flu. They're not paying anybody any money. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then they're shoving down woke shit that nobody likes. It's like, there's so many options now. Like, you know, being an entertainer today is both way better and way worse than it used to be. Like, there's so many more avenues now to connect with your crowd, but you're also, you know, you're competing against everybody, right? So this woke shit where you're shoving down people, when they pay with their dollar, they don't give a shit about, is there a lesbian on the show? Is there a black? They just want, for 20, 25 bucks, $30, whatever they're paying for the ticket, they want to get rocked. And it doesn't mean
they want to laugh.
Laughing the whole time. It could be getting angry at you. People want to feel stuff. This notion that being offended is a felony. It's like, go fuck yourself. You're feeling some emotion. And that's what people want now. authenticity.
Right. I don't think when anybody sits down to watch a sports game or like buys tickets to a game, they're like, wait a minute. How many black people and how many white people are on this team? Are there any Asians? Like, you just want to see whoever's there do their best. And sure, you could be a fan of, oh, I like this particular lesbian comic. I like this particular black comic, but you're not thinking of it that way. You're just like, oh, I fucking really love Chappelle. I fucking really love Emma Willman or whoever. And
well, my whole thing is that, it's like diversity is kind of like along the lines of reality shows, right? Reality shows were about getting rid of talent. They didn't want to have real actors, and they didn't want to have writers, and they didn't want to have real directors. They just wanted to have shiny object people who they could just plug and play, dude. Plug and play. Oh, hey, is this really good looking person really hard to deal with? Take him out, put a new person in, bang, bang. And that's all they did. Disposable entertainers, right? You got to deal with talent, okay? If someone's finding a great writer, great director, they have needs and they want money. They don't fucking like it all the time, okay? They don't like it at all. So now they figured out a way to get rid of it. That's the same thing with diversity. Now, hear me out. It's not that I don't think that diverse people are talented. The problem is who they're using, okay? There's so many killers out there, but you never see them as the one that they're plugging in. It's these really either super young people that fucking don't even know what they're doing. I was telling Brian Callen this today. Like, young people are only good for one thing: fucking. That's it. That's all they're good for.
Young dudes, they're probably not even that good at that.
Yeah, but they'll fuck, man. But outside of that, dude, they're not really good. Yeah, Hollywood pushes it down your throat because they don't have to pay them anything. And it's like you got all like, how many? There's a black circuit of comedy that fucking you've never heard of these guys, and they just murder everywhere they go. They're not part of the diversity movement at all.
Any like random road gig I do out in like Delaware or like Delaware's the last one I can think of. I'm with guys on the show. I was like the only white chick, only white person, like whatever, it doesn't matter. But these guys, I had never heard of any of them before, and they all murdered this guy. I think his name was Joe Torre. I'm like, oh, the old Yankees manager? No, it's like this hilarious black comic. And it's like always when I'm on the road is when I encounter these super funny dudes. And I hope they're making a good living from it. It's never anybody I see on TV. It's never anybody who Netflix is like fluffing up. So
no, I totally agree with that. So they're plugging in these people, and it's about not paying anybody. And what people don't understand, these diversity programs in LA, dude, these writers they get in on a diversity deal. They get paid less than the quote unquote normal writer.
How do you know that?
About that? Well, because my buddy, I'm not going to say his name, is a writer, and he's like, dude, they bring these diversity writers in, and they get paid less than the normal writers get paid.
Is it because they're starting out, or is it like white guys who are starting out get paid more, and he knows?
No, it's probably just like, oh, dude, we're just getting you this. You should be happy, blah blah blah, and nobody ever looks into it, and then nobody complains because the minute you complain, you get blackballed from Hollywood, so that they just run into you can't take anymore.
Wow.
But it's a dying altar. Nobody cares. Like, dude, podcast people. When I was running Comedy Chaos at the Comedy Store, right? The people who sold tickets were the podcast people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was Burr would sell tickets.
Yeah,
but it was all the podcast people. Podcasting is where it's at, and not everybody can do it. But those who can actually connect are gonna have fans who follow them forever till they grow old.
Have you been at the Comedy Store since all this pandemic shit and the lockdowns? And because I a friend of mine, Lila Hart, she has spina bifida. She tried to get in like months ago, and she was like, here, I have a doctor's note. Clearly, like you can see, I have a physical issue here. And she has like her vax exemption papers or whatever, and she had just had a negative test, had done a theater show. The Comedy Store would not let her in. So that it was really upsetting to her. She was like crying about that shit. Now she moved to Texas. She's totally thriving down there. And I was wondering, like, have you been to the store at all? Are you trying to?
I haven't been to the store, part of it is out of their hands. The vaccine mandate, I'm against it. You know, here's the thing, man. The Comedy Store started doing these shows in the patio, and people just snitched on them left and right. There's these beta cucks. I call them beta dictators. That's who moves to LA and New York. Beta dictators, like betas that just want to be dictators, right? And they're nasty, and they're not like kumbaya loving like they want to act because I got a black friend and I got a gay friend. They're like, oh, I'm open-minded. No, they're nasty people, and they would love to scorch the earth with everybody, but they just it's a different style of doing that compared to like knuckle dragging alphas, right? They snitch all the time.
Oh, man.
So I haven't really been to the store. I did my first Hollywood show in months with Shab last night and Callan and some really funny guys like Chappelle Lacey and some other people. And, you know, the biggest reason I don't want to perform at these clubs is because the LA crowds are dumb. They're really dumb. They're all, this is headquarters.
It's so similar to New York. It really is. Like, I had performed a couple times before the mandate stuff came out, and it just felt different. Like performing to New York City crowds since the pandemic, I'm like, oh, the only people that are left in the city are like broke college students or a very specific kind of person that's like, I'm not leaving New York City. Or it's like the people who could afford to move out have done so. And what remains is like a much less diverse like group of people.
They're all rich kids. It's all rich kids. It's all woke people that have just taken 45 boosters and they have a certain view of comedy. And you know, I have a joke about how like coronavirus hasn't killed any midgets. There's no midgets have died from corona because corona is height challenge. It can't see you lower than a certain height. Apparently, if you sit down, it can't see you. If you stand up, you're fucked. So midgets are sat and I'm like, midgets are just crip walking everywhere. And I'm like, yeah, N-word, yeah, on stage, right? And the crowd gets quiet. And then the comic that follows me uses the N-word. He's black. He's the N-word as a noun and adjective.
They're allowed to.
And they explode. It reminds me of this time I was following Brett Warren at the Comedy Store. He's talking about how his brother was gay, right? So then Justin Martindale, who's so fucking funny, Brett Warren's super funny too. Justin Martindale runs up on stage. It's like, and I fucked his brother in the ass. And the crowd just goes, yeah! I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Let's test how much you love this, right? So I walked up on stage and I was told a story about how I lost a bet to my friends. And I had to watch 2 hours of gay pornography, right?
In a row?
Wow. Yeah, but we allowed our listeners to pick the porn. So it was all like compilation porn. It was just dicks jizzing all over the place, right? And I did the joke and the room got quiet on me. And I'm like, hold on, you're sensitive to that? About me having to watch gay porn when you celebrated that some dude fucked some guy's brother in the ass? Like,
you made it real.
About you?
That the guy, the Yas Queen guy is like, you know, I guess easier to laugh at because it's more of a caricature. You made it real.
But no, he really fucked this guy in the ass, though. I just don't get it, man. It's just mental gymnastics, and it's my big problem. Like, you know who really hates me on the road? White women who are with black men.
Oh, why?
They are the number one demographic to complain and shout and leave a Yelp review. And they always announce that they're with a black guy, like it's there's like some kind of civil rights leader every fucking time. They're like,
just you know, I'm a hero.
yeah, 100%. 100%. You're addicted to black dick. That does not make you a superhero, okay? That doesn't, but they're always, and they hear buzzwords and they can't, they don't understand.
We get it, Cheryl. You couldn't go back.
Right. Yeah. Well, the Kardashians are proving that you can go back, right?
Right. I mean, look at Pete Davidson. Although, you know, he has what I hear is just the skinny white boy, just magical big dick, you know.
He says he doesn't have a big dick, that she was trying to set him up. And he looks like a haunted house.
He does always look like I want to just send him to a beach for a day to get some vitamin D. I want him to drink a green drink, spend some time in the sun, maybe go for a jog. I feel like he needs to get the blood flow moving a little bit.
I don't hate him. I just can't stand that we live in a reality where like it's a pussy race to see who can fuck this guy.
It's sad because there's there's attractive men out there, and I'm sure there's like you. I don't know. It is sad when all it takes is to pull on these women is the rumor of a big dick. That's literally it.
Right.
It's not talent. It's not looks. It's not. Maybe it's charisma. I don't know. I don't mean to sound like overly shitty. I'm not a fucking supermodel, but I'm just like, there's nothing compelling about this dude. Like, I don't know.
I mean, the other one's dating is like engaged to Travis Barker, who is like a much cooler version of that. Like he's like they worked out the avatar in like later series of the video game. Like Pete Davidson looks like the first version of the video game. Travis Barker looks like they worked out all the kinks, and this is a much more real version of the but like Pete
Davidson has he's like a first draft vibe.
Yeah. It's a very weird, man. It's like they had a meeting. They're like, we're gonna go back. People say you can't go back. Once you go black, we're gonna go back and we're gonna date tatted up skinny white.
You know what it is? Every single thing about their lives is choreographed and orchestrated and planned out. And I was like, I'm sure Kris Jenner got with Pete Davidson's team and was like, okay, we both have shit to promote. We are going to make this relationship happen. I think most relationships in Hollywood are sort of arranged in that way. Like Tegan and Legend were kind of arranged that way. So
dude, what about the Fresh Prince and what's her face? What's his name? Who's the friend? What's his
Smith and Jada Pinkett?
Yeah, she's a lesbian.
And they're like, I don't know.
Are they gay?
Hanging on by a thread at this point? Like every time I hear their name, it's like some weird open relationship deal, or like I don't know.
He's like, I'm cheating on him with another guy. It's like you're a lesbian.
Like nobody cares. Also, yeah.
Do you know who Tammy Pascatelli is? The comedian?
Yeah.
She's great. She tells a story about how the first time the first night she was in like LA, she went to the Roxbury, which is where Pink Taco is now on Sunset. And and she went in there, she went upstairs, and the first thing she ever saw in Hollywood was fucking what is the big lesbian that's on like the Equalizer right now? What's her name? Queen Latifah.
Oh,
Queen Latifah finger blasting Jada Pinkett.
Oh my God. What? This is the first thing she saw?
Yeah. And like, dude, that's gotta be suck if that's your first experience. You're like, how do you do
that's kind of hot.
Right? I mean, this gotta be much more fuckable versions of Queen Latifah too. Now she's like, I work at the fucking post office energy, right?
A little bit. Yeah, she's got a little bit of a DMV vibe to her. Not exactly the sexiest energy. Oh, do you know JR? Merry Christmas, Chrissy. I met Sam in Houston, and he is an awesome dude.
$25 make you holla.
How is I have never been to Houston.
You've never been to Houston?
Nope.
Oh, it's the best.
Austin. I was in Austin this year, and I've been to Dallas 3 times this year. Dallas.
I'm thinking about moving to Dallas.
That is a smart move. Dallas is the shit in this.
Like, I love Austin. I'm like excited for Joe Rogan's comedy club, but I'm thinking Dallas. I feel like Austin. Austin's just like, hey, dude, you want to live in LA but not Los Angeles?
Do you want to live in LA with a cowboy hat? Come to Austin.
Yeah, I want to be in Dallas because it's got Dallas and Houston have the hottest black chicks on the planet, and I'm all about that. Like, I'm really into right now hot racist black women. Like, I love hot racist black chicks who like want like white genocide. That really turns me on.
So you're into Joy Reid? You're into
No, I said hot.
Oh, okay.
Which is really weird because she's cross-eyed, and that's another weird thing I'm very attracted to. women who are slightly cross-eyed.
Because you could probably put something in their drink and they wouldn't notice because they can't focus.
They always look like they're choking on your dick when they go down on you.
Oh, that's flattering. Yeah, that's probably fun out the
Ah. I'm sorry, this is a concern.
Explain like I want to talk to you a little bit about like how have you seen your podcasts develop since moving from YouTube to Rockfin?
I mean, YouTube really did some damage to my numbers. I basically lost almost half my crowd. And I'm still on there.
Do you remember over what exactly it was?
Oh yeah, I mean, like it was just like dropping too much truth, man.
Okay.
And
what genres,
I mean,
like generally?
it was like I just recently, my last ding was for a private video it's been private for like months. It's like super old and it just had pedogate in the title. Ding, gone, right? So I'm like, okay, man. So I
have a pet egg that I use to rough up. I brush it against my feet to make the bottom smoother. So that's actually what we're talking about here. Is like,
yeah. Oh shit.
You get
Sorry,
you get the calluses off. No, I'm just fucking around. I'm just trying to confuse the algorithm.
But they go after me. So I have so many brands that I'm like, fine. I don't need to put Tinfoil hat in there, but I feel like you need to have a presence on YouTube because it's like Main Street. And you just want to, even if you're just dipping your toe in there, you still want to be on YouTube, even though my channel used to get like 80, 100,000, 150,000. Now it gets like 7,000. So, and I don't know what the real number is. Okay. And then, so that's it. So Rockfin's been belly good to me. There's a lot of outlaws over there, which I think is the reason why a big part of YouTube's growth, because all the people over there built up YouTube. And I think it's great. I think it's great that they try to censor us and just new platforms grow. And I think that's what happens. And everyone's always freaking out like, oh my God, nobody's going to get the same information. I'm like, well, maybe that's good, man. Maybe like everybody, do you guys miss when there was 4 networks and like the suits had control of everything? No, you want to have a diversification of platforms so anybody can work. As long as you're not hurting people, anybody should be able to work. I don't think YouTube should be banning people for speech.
Yeah,
I just don't. And like when they went after Alex Jones, we said something. Owen Benjamin, I know people think I didn't say anything. I told him, if you're going to call black people the M word, you're on your own. And I've said that to him. He's been on my podcast. We're going to do some shows in Idaho together. And I'm glad we made up because I like what he's doing. Right.
Why did you guys have a beef? Like,
I'm just saying, dude. What's that?
What kind of a, like, why were you guys in a fight, or why were you not getting along?
There was just a misunderstanding of some stuff, and probably neither of us handled it the best. And I liked having Owen on. I would do it again. I do want to do a live show with him. So, and I support what he's doing. He's one of the first guys to be like, I'm getting out of the big city. I'm moving to a farm. And a lot of people are doing that now. He's a trailblazer in that regard. And
gardening and growing food, and
that's what I want to do.
Lentils.
I want to get a farm, bro. I want to get a farm. But that gets into so much more stuff. Like, it's just like there's been this psyop to push people into big cities, man. And in my humble opinion, if you talk to indigenous people and they tell you what the reservations have done to them, and then tell me that doesn't sound exactly like big city life. And yes, it's more of a free range
on the government, and you're like less and less the walls. That's why I feel like New York City was a prime target to roll out the vax passports, because it's like, what are you gonna do? Where are you gonna go eat? You know what I mean? Are you just gonna do Uber Eats living in Manhattan? Really? It's like you have no.
Well, I also think that they want to just run everybody out of those cities so they can flip them into smart cities where they control all the business. They want to get rid of all the mom and pop places to the best of their abilities, and they want to control them because New York City and LA are where all the beta dictators go, and they're the two biggest economies in the world. They're like number 5 and 6. Okay. Wow. Like that's power. So where are the three places where all the beta dictators go? They go LA, New York, San Francisco, right? And what do those all represent? Power, man. They've been trying to control these cities, and basically because that's money and power. And those places reverberate through the rest of the world. Something that happens in New York City happens everywhere in the world. Something that happens in LA happens everywhere in the world. Something that happens in Silicon Valley happens everywhere in the world. So it's a very easy way to make moves around the world by controlling these certain narratives. That's why it's going to be so hard to get these places to flip, because these people are so embedded in their conformity that it's their ego. It's going to be hard for them to change their ways. But when you look at the reservation, what they do to the reservation, they destroyed people's connection to history. They convinced them everything new is better. They destroyed a lot of men's way of making money. Okay, right? Men have no clue on what to do with their life. They're fucking lost. They're committing suicide. There's drugs and alcohol in every corner. Same thing as the reservation. Wow. And then when you pack everybody in, you can push this Agenda 2030 where there's too many people in the world, and there's there's climate change because people are stuck in traffic and they're like, there's too many fucking people. Well, go to Montana. There's nobody. Go to Oklahoma. Go to parts of Arizona. There's wide range places. You just live in a condensed place because they want you to think the world's coming to an end and there's too many people, so they could tax the fuck out of you and control you.
Yeah. Oh, and if you're a man, everything you do is toxic. There were 93,000 drug overdoses in 2021. It's up I think at least 20,000 from last year. And I don't know. I'd be shocked if that wasn't also kind of part of the plan here. Just get people to sort of whatever way you go out. The plan is to lessen the numbers. So,
well, hey, dude. Sometimes I'm on and stuck in traffic. I'm like, maybe Bill Gates wasn't totally off about that. And then all these people get 90 boosters. It's like, good, go. You're a mouth breather. Get on it, breather. Get out of here. There's too many of you, man. There's too many of you. So obviously I'm joking about that, but it's just like, yeah, man, get out of the big city. So I kind of want to, because I got FOMO, because I want to be where Dallas got a good comedy scene. I can go do stand-up whenever I want. Then I could go live in the big city, and my kids, okay. Hey, Sam, a few fans in Super Chats asking Chrissy about 65-year-old girlfriend. Is that off limits? No. Dana is older than me. I love her to pieces. We're supers. We have a symbiotic relationship. All these fucking retards on the internet who are trying to act like it's something big. I love her. It's all. Yeah, I know. I read it. I read it out loud. No, dude. I love Dana. I love her. People are acting because she went to kiss me on a fucking podcast. I'm like, get off me. I'm podcasting. And now they're running with it because a certain person out there put that out to some trolls, and we're dealing with that. But at the end of the day, dude, the last podcast I put on Tinfoil had Dana and I make out, so you can all suck my dick. Okay. Ooh. You're all just crazy people. And Dana Marshall is a fucking world-beaten superstar. And if you actually knew all the stuff she did in your life, you'd want to sit down and have a wonderful conversation with her. I have a very symbiotic relationship with her. I love her very much. We're both going to be in each other's life till we take our last breath. And that's it, dog. And you know what? It is what it is. And I love her to pieces. And I'm very thankful she's in my life. And I'm very thankful that she kind of stuck with me through very dark fucking times. So I don't know what this whole thing making fun. I'm 50 years old, man. Who am I to make fun of anybody's age? And guess what? You're going to be 65 one day too, you fucking trolls. So this happens if you're lucky. Okay, if you're lucky. If your life doesn't get dark enough that you want to check out early, maybe you'll make it to 65. And then you'll be fucking like, hey, dude, making fun of people for their age. Ageism is real, dude. But I don't care, man. I love them all. Yep, Dana's my girl. I got a baby's mama that gave me 2 kids. I love my kids. I see them every fucking day. I wish I could be with them more, but we're just working everything out. This is life. This is my life. I'm a weirdo. I'm my father's kid. I'm a fucking whack job, but I'm a knuckle dragger with a heart of gold. And that's kind of where we're at. So
Sam,
that's the end.
I said to Frank the other day, I think it was like right before after my birthday, I was like, Frank, did you ever think you'd be dating a 38-year-old woman? And he was like, ugh. It was like this funny
Remember
moment.
when you used to look at your aunts and uncles when you were young? They're like 35. You're like ancient elders, right? And now you're like,
I remember being 16 years old on a diving training trip in Hawaii, and I hooked up with a 20-year-old, and I thought that was so old. And he gave me a hickey on my neck, and I was on this trip with my mom and my sister. I spent like a day looking for a hemp necklace that was thick enough to cover the hickey, and
hickeys.
I couldn't
Hickeys.
find
Are
one.
you gonna have kids? Do you want kids?
If maybe I'll squeak one out, but I also don't want it to be retarded. And I know people are gonna take that the wrong way, but I had a retarded uncle, so I can say that word.
You can say that word anyways.
Yeah.
And it's special.
And
Retards are Joe Biden's a retard. You know.
Oh yeah, poor thing. Like
So listen, you should have a kid. And I know it sounds crazy, but it's the greatest thing of all time. It's the best. And this whole movement, like, oh, kids are blah, I'm bringing kids in this world. People have been saying that for eternity.
this world now, yeah.
Yeah, like it's gonna be, dude, watching something become a person is the most magical shit you'll ever see. And you're just like, oh man, I don't want to fuck this up. It takes a lot to fuck them up. Okay. It takes a lot. And like usually it's violence and all that stuff. So if you just love them, people are on their path in life. And it's just, my daughters are so smart and it's so fun. And it's the greatest thing. I'm so like, it's my favorite thing I've ever done. And I've done some whoop ass shit, but it's so cool and it changes my perspective on women. I used to just think you guys were holes that I hit.
Holes.
I mean, I'm just people get real quiet. I'm like, do you want me to be truthful here or not?
Yeah.
I'm being honest with you. Like
some of us are just holes.
Yeah, right. Now I realize you're a human being. I like this weird kind of thing where it's like, you know, I want to do medieval sex with you, or I just want to help you achieve your dreams. It's like this weird kind of thing that goes on when you suddenly have daughters and you realize women are people.
How did it hit you? Was it as soon as you saw your daughters, it was like you were this different person, or was it gradual?
Well, I remember when she told me that they were daughters and she's like, are you mad? And I'm like, no, man. I mean, like, I'm just happy. And like, dude, it is being a girl dad is wonderful. And I think it's important, especially if you're a guy that has had a lot of females in your family, to kind of like balance that kind of knuckle dragger caveman in every guy. To have daughters, realize they're people. And I mean, it sounds crazy, but there's a lot of dudes out there like, I just want to hit it and move. And it's like, oh, dude, people, you know, it's like, it's such a blessing. It's like, I love them. And one is like just an Amazon already. The other one's super analytical. And I'm blessed. And even though me and the mom go through some stuff here and there, I'm so thankful she gave me kids. And I just hear people like, I'm never going to have kids. I'm like, you have to understand something. There is a cycle of life. And there comes a point where it's not supposed to be about you anymore. And it happens to everybody. And just understand where the cycle is, where you are.
Baton, bruh.
Yeah, just no more pulling out, bro.
No more pulling out. I actually have not been on birth control since like 2006 because it made me. I was like really young when I got on it. Well, not really young, but I noticed it made me feel weird right away. So I haven't been on it. I've also never had a scare because I'm like not a fucking asshole. No, I'm just like,
you know what? They've done studies on it. Women on birth control start liking dangerous traits in men. They start being attracted
because it fucks up your picker.
Yeah.
Because you choose. I've read a lot about this a couple of years ago. Like you birth control tricks your body into thinking you are always pregnant, right? So then you wouldn't like your progesterone and whatever estrogen levels go up and down throughout your whole cycle, and like the times at which you're naturally fertile, whatever the levels are, like that is when your picker is at its best, and you're like, that's who you want to like mate for life with. Like you look for different qualities, but birth control makes you feel like you're in a different part of your cycle, which your
And you're
picker.
just like in Bad Boys.
Yeah, well, interesting. That's interesting. So
I love
anyway,
it, man. It's great. And you know what? I'm so happy that you're crushing it. You really are doing a wonderful
aw.
job. You should be super proud of everything you have. And the thing about you and your brand is like you're going to be able to do this for a very long time. And I tell this to everybody, man. It's like just be authentic and just be interesting. I call it the Joan Rivers effect. Joan Rivers worked forever because she had a wonderful point of view on everything and she was authentic to who she did. When she was young, she's working in an all-male world. She was doing like late night talk shows and stuff like that. And then she worked all the way to her well into her 80s, right? It's because she always had a great point of view. And if you're authentic and you have a point of view, the internet doesn't care your age. They just want
True.
you to be
They
interesting.
want you to be real. Yeah.
So all these people that are following you now, they're going to follow you forever. Same thing, hopefully, with me, as long as they don't get bored of me talking all the time. And it's a blessing. And like some of these people are going to learn the hard way. I just sit down with people all the time, because I'm just like, get out of the system. And they can't do it. They're so embedded in this retarded system that they can't get out. They're worshiping at a dying altar. They need to stop. And they need to get out and start finding something interesting. And they're going to fail at first, and then they can come up with something else and keep moving and moving and moving and moving. And until they find that thing that hits, just be interesting.
Yeah. And you look at like, I always love using Tim Dillon as an example. He was not passed at like the Comedy Cellar in the city. He was like, he was in at the Stand. A couple of places really dug him. And then he kind of went around it all. His podcast exploded. And now he's like filling the freaking Beacon. Like he's everywhere. So, and I think a lot of people are pissed at him because he kind of went around, the bottleneck, and he
It's
just
kind of what I was saying
did
about
his own
you.
thing.
People love to root for the people that everyone thought was going to make it. That's what they want. They're like, oh, he said he's going to make, yay for him. And it's like, no, dude. It's like, I root for you. I root for Tim Dillon. The odds on Tim Dillon ever happening is astronomical. Astronomical. People have no clue how hard it is for an openly gay man to make it, to cross over. Because so much of comedy is relatability.
He's never talking like, oh, I had this dick in my
100%.
ass the other day. It's like he could be asexual even. You know what I mean? Like you forget about him as a sexual being because he just never talks about it. It's not in his
He's
personality.
incredibly smart. He has the same thing that Joe Rogan has, this incredible ability to recall every word, pronounce every name, remember every organization's name. It's a gift, dude. And he found it. And, Rogan's a big part of it. But so what? There's a lot of people that went on Rogan that fucking didn't blow up like Tim Dillon. Tim Dillon has all the skills in the world, man. And he operates smart. Him, Andrew Schultz,
Yeah.
Joe Rogan, they all work real smart. They know what to talk about, what kind of to stay away. Even though Rogan's doing the Lord's work right now, like really doing the Lord's work with what he's doing. What he's doing.
He's poking holes in a lot of big things that need to be poked.
Dude, he's banging with the masters of mankind. And that's a dangerous game. That's why I love him very much. And people always, oh, Rogan does believe in this. Dude, what he's doing should be discussed.
He's making a dent, a serious dent.
Dude, he's waking up so much. Him, Jimmy Dore, Russell Brand, these are all, like, I know Rogan's kind of been like, a dude's dude. But, Jimmy Dore's leftist, Russell Brand leftist, and they're both doing wonderful jobs of waking up the people on the other side. And I think that's very important, dude. And there's going to be some resistance. And I think the people mean well. I think sometimes when we see people who are from the other side, and they don't see the world like us, we automatically assume it's coming from an evil place or dark place. Sometimes people just are scared and I mean that in a loving way, and they really do have a big heart and they want to help other people. And sometimes it can be misguided. But we need to have conversations with them about that. And that's what I think Rogan and all those guys are doing. They're taking their message to a group of people that would never listen to Alex Jones because they've been told, oh,
Right.
Alex is this, or oh my God, this shooting or that shooting. And it's like, guy's been more right than he's wrong. There's certain things he's blind to. He'll never talk about anything Israel does. And I love Israelis, but sometimes we need to have a conversation about what that government is doing. And that's not a thing, but he's right about China. And then there's people on the left who are like, thinking that everything we talk about China is a part of the military industrial complex. I'm sure there's a little bit of that for sure. I mean, for sure. But are you telling me that these things that China's known for isn't happening? Social credit score? Like there's a whole side of the left that don't think
genocide?
Social credit score is coming. I'm like, it's literally here, man.
Look at Sweden. Look at Australia. Yeah.
The NBA is like sitting people because they came in contact with somebody with COVID. Not because they have COVID, but because they came in contact. That is the protocol. That is social credit score. It is already here.
Mm-hmm. It's your relationships. It's like all this banning and censorship. That's why I'm like, fuck it. I have to have as many people on my podcast that are silenced as possible because that's fucked up. And I can't stand when people are misunderstood.
On social media, they're now giving you these warnings like, hey, this person's tweeted some misinformation in the past. You know what that's about? Training you to be comfortable with social credit score on your phone. That's why they're doing it. They're just training you to be comfortable with getting that. And this is all this is about. They're trying to prolong this mask stuff so people are okay with the government saying that stuff.
Yeah.
And wearing masks.
We don't think you should talk to this person. This thread has a lot of heat on it. Are you sure? Or like, oh, this, they're getting you used to the idea that your phone can tell you who to talk to, who's to stay away from. Right. And then like outing your friends and family. I mean, we've had that for a while. Like, oh, let us know if you know anybody at January 6th. Do you know these people? And like people just.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people who lost their jobs in Hollywood because they were at the Capitol on January 6th. But yet nobody's lost their job when they were in Epstein's flight log.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Or like, knowingly working with Weinstein. Those people haven't been blackballed.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? And dude, there's just people been accused of like real pedophilia. What I mean by real pedophilia, it isn't like flirting with some like high school senior or something like that. What I'm talking about is like kiddie porn and all that stuff that they've been known to have, and nobody says anything about it. They make, and that's a big part of what the trans agenda is, right? They want you angry at trans so you're not looking at pedophiles.
Oof.
Right?
Yeah.
And they're
like,
out there.
Look over here.
Oh, look at this guy who's dressed like a chick. He's coming for your kids. Why there's real pedophiles coming for your kids.
For real. Did you follow the Maxwell trial at all?
Yeah, I like, here's the whole thing about that trial. I don't think the prosecution did that great of a job, obviously, but I think she's so beyond guilty that even their defense is everyone's like, oh, their defense is doing well because she's guilty. Like, I mean, like, there's no defense of what she did. You can't.
There's nobody like pulling for her.
Shit.
It's not like Rittenhouse where there was people who were like for and against.
Dude, she was like, and like a big thing. Like, do you think it was only little girls there? And like all of the victims they tell you about are all like, oh man, she was like 14, 15, 16. Come on, dude. High school chicks, bro. It's like, you're not telling me there was super young kids there?
Yeah.
Come on, get the fuck out of here.
What about kids that are, younger than 14? That's scary.
I mean, dude, do you know that China, I keep calling you dude. Do you know that China did a census of their population and they could not account for 12 million children?
What? How does that happen? Jesus. Wow.
Dark shit, dog.
That's
out
a
there.
whole other episode. Yeah,
But if you get lost in
probably
it,
more appropriate for Rockfin.
yeah, if you get lost in that stuff, like fighting that all the time, you're losing. You're losing.
You can't black pill yourself 24/7.
Yeah, you'll go nuts.
You'll lose yourself, and then you're no good to anybody around you.
Yeah, I got a jam now. I gotta go see my kids.
Okay. Wow, Sam Tripoli, everybody. Where can people find you and follow you? And other than Rockfin and your pods on there, I think you're on Twitter at Fat Dragon Pro.
Yeah. And then I got Fat Dragon Pro on Instagram. I'm paying some guy to try to get my original
Ooh.
account back. We'll see. If I get it back, I promise you, Instagram, I'm not going to do any of the stuff I used to do. I just want to promote on there. I just want to promote. The worst thing's like they just got rid of me on. I posted a picture of Hillary Clinton's camel toe, and they dinged me, and they took my thing down because they said it was hate speech.
Wow.
Which it is.
Camel toes are hate speech now.
Hillary's.
She should be happy somebody's looking at her camel toe at her age.
Like, can I ask you, can you feel camel toe? Do you know it's there?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I would say, like, in the instance of yoga pants, yeah, you know when you're wearing a pair of yoga pants that's tighter up there, for sure. Like, if you're like, "Oh, my ass looks really good in these," like, then probably there's camel toe,
Like, but when you're wearing jeans and it looks like your vagina's just gnawing. Like, nom, 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 nom.
It's trying to eat its way out of your pants.
Yeah, it's just like, rah, let me out. Let me free.
Really try to not wear jeans where that's even a question. But again, if you're dealing with like a fupa situation and you're already kind of not conscious of that upper like pussy stomach area, then yeah, it is possible you could not be aware of the status of your camel toe.
You don't, I know it sounds really uncomfortable. You don't feel like I can feel when like my jeans are like just rubbing my nuts.
You know what it is, Sam? You know what it is? Is that like women our whole lives, we wear underwear that's tight, we wear pantyhose and stockings that are tight. Everything is tight. You know what I mean? Like some of us wear Spanx that are tight, like shapers, waist cinchers, right? Like our whole lives we're conditioned to feel like there's tight all around us all the time. It's not like you guys men have the option of having boxers that your balls are catching a breeze. We never do. So I think we're so conditioned that we don't feel when our pants are also maybe too tight or if there's like a camel toe situation going on. But I'm going to look more deeply.
Is that etiquette to tell somebody they got camel toe? Hey,
I think
you look like you have a hungry hippo.
You might want to know where they stand on camel toe. Like, would you tell a woman like, "Hey, your thong is sticking out," or, "Hey, I can see your ass." It's like, "Yeah, I'm wearing the TikTok leggings. I want you to look at my ass." So I think it depends on like knowing.
Is that a thing? TikTok leggings?
It is a thing. I'm not on TikTok, but I've heard about them, and it's like this pattern of legging that's like it hides, cellulite, it hides everything, and it's just very like makes you look snatched. So I've
been doing a lot of yoga, and I do yoga off of YouTube, and some of the people they want like, "Hey, follow me on yoga." I'm like, "You're a 20-year-old fairy who has bird bones and can put your legs around your head. I'm never going to be able to do any of the stuff you're doing. Shut up."
No,
so
you could do it. Keep the faith. What kind of dog do you have?
Every time I talk about camel toe, they go nuts.
Oh, they love it.
All right. But there's this one girl that did yoga, and like, I'm like, where's the yoga here? You're just sitting spread eagle in front of the camera. And my buddy goes, because she has like 6 million views. And you're like the Beatles of fucking yoga right now. You have 6 million views and you're not even teaching yoga. You're just doing like happy baby spread eagle. And it was like, ugh.
Yeah, it's not really. Yoga's kind of the cover. It's like yoga is what we're saying we're doing. And really it might be like treading into softcore porn or just like, here's a way that makes everybody okay with the fact that I'm like showing my ass and doing splits and doing like kind of provocative stuff. But it's like, it's okay because it's yoga. It's very smart, actually. In fact, I'm getting some ideas.
Have you seen naked yoga on YouTube?
I have, yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Like,
It is
I
crazy.
get
I would
dinged
not
on
want
YouTube all the time for, oh, this is adult content for no kids can look at. I'm like, it's an Instagram twerking video.
I
What?
think,
And then you got
as
these
long as
chicks
you
like,
just post yoga, like, if you were just talking about the deep state, but while you're doing yoga, I think you could get away with it. If you just have yoga somewhere in there, I think
there
you
you
could get it.
go. That's your
There you
next
go.
YouTube series right there.
Mhm.
All right, I got a jam. Sorry.
Alright, love
Hey
you,
guys,
Sam.
go to Sam Tripoli for all my dates. Yo, check me
Yes.
out. Yo.
Go to Sam's shows, check him out. Sam, you're a delight. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh,
Thank
I
you.
forgot there was people commenting here. I should have read
Oh,
some of the
yeah,
comments.
it's okay. I'm gonna do a quick shout out from our sponsor. Guys, if you struggle with anxiety like I do, go to cushydreams.com and check out some of their high quality hemp flower in both pre-rolls and tins. I really love the pre-rolls. They come in this handy dandy 5-pack, very portable, smells fantastic. It's not gonna get you high. You can enjoy all the health benefits of CBD without going high. Going high. There's different indica sativa blends like energy, peace, dream, relax, create, hustle. Um, give yourself the gift of peace. You can tell I'm going off book. Go to cushydreams.com. That's KUSHY dreams.com and get yourself some high quality CBD today. Dun dun dun. I'm gonna order me some. 'Cause it's the holidays, guys. We're stressed. We're around our family. We're like, "Oh, did I buy enough people enough gifts?" Just light up a little, Cushy Dreams, and you'll feel better. Alright, guys. Yeah. Use the promo code CMP to get 20% off. That was Sam Tripoli, everybody. I adore him. One of my favorite people. Like, one of the people who kind of believed in me, early on. So he's cool. He's cool beans. Thank you, chat, for your comments and questions. Until next time, guys. Bye.